Hi there, in this video I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Netflix show Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. So in case you don't know who Marie Kondo is, she is a Japanese professional organizer and tidying expert. She wrote the best-selling book The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up and the follow-up book Spark Joy. Her KonMari method of decluttering your home has become so popular. Basically it's a method where you tidy by category rather than room, and she recommends an order of categories starting from the easiest category to the hardest category, which is sentimental items. So basically Marie goes around to families' homes in the United States and helps them declutter their homes using her KonMari method. If you're new to my channel, my name is Mel. I do a lot of decluttering, organizing and cleaning videos on my channel. I post weekly videos, so if you're interested in getting tips on how to simplify your home and your life, then I'd love to have you click the red subscribe button below and join my YouTube family. I've read both of Marie Kondo's books and I have tried her KonMari method quite a few times myself. The show has quite a good range of families in different living circumstances. For instance, you've got a family with toddlers, you've got the older couple whose kids have all left home, the empty nesters, a lady who is a widow and her husband died less than a year ago and she's struggling with how is she going to go through all his belongings. You've got two young adults who want to live a more mature lifestyle, but their home is basically a mess and they want to show their families that their relationship is serious and they want that to be reflected in their home. There's also the newly wedded couple who are trying to combine all their belongings and figure out how to live in their new home and make it their home together. There's quite a different range of living situations, which I think, unless you're a minimalist already, most people should be able to relate to at least part of what one of the families is going through. Now, Marie Kondo's books are obviously more detailed about the process and the philosophy behind the KonMari method and how to go through tidying each category and how to organize different items and that kind of thing. So the TV show touches on these things and does give tips, but there's no way it can go into the same level of detail as the book, so just keep that in mind when you're watching it. However, I do feel that the TV show does a really good job of showing the emotional side and the emotional challenges that people go through when they're trying to either downsize their home or basically simplify and just get rid of some of their stuff. There can be a lot of sentimental attachment that people have to items, and I think the show does a great job of showing that and highlighting that. And it also shows that different people within a family can be at different stages of how comfortable they are getting rid of things, and also different family members can be attached to different types of items to a different degree. So for example, there was one couple where the guy found it really easy to declutter all of his clothes and his partner found it quite hard, whereas the guy who found it easy to declutter his clothes found it really hard to discard papers. He was a writer and he was really attached to some of the things he'd written. Even as a kid, he had stuff going right back to elementary school, I think. What Marie did too in the show was she was adamant that her KonMari method is more about finding joy in the items that you keep and choosing what will enhance your life and what will spark joy and what will have meaning in your life going forward. And that is what her process is basically all about. It's about focusing more on what is going to enhance your life and make you happy, and then you basically get rid of the rest. I think a lot of people focus on, oh my god, you're telling me I have to get rid of all this stuff. What you get from the show that you don't get from the books is you kind of get to know Marie a little bit better through her interactions with each of the family members. She's a really endearing personality. I found her to be really empathetic. She was a really good active listener and would listen to the concerns of the families and their preferences, and she was so respectful of what their wishes were and their circumstances and just really respectful of their homes, and I really admire her for that. And she wasn't in any way judgmental about the decisions that they made about their possessions. In fact, I think one of the kids in the downsizer family actually said that she didn't make you feel bad about what you wanted to keep. And this is the thing, decluttering and minimalism is not one size fits all. It's very individual. It's very specific to each person. So what is going to make one person happy won't necessarily make another person happy. And also in terms of the quantities, a certain amount of stuff may make one person happy and then another person may not be happy with the same quantity of stuff. I feel that it is very, very personal and very specific to the individual. Marie does a great job of communicating that. She's just very encouraging and, you know, just sort of gently coaxing and encouraging the families and not being judgmental or not being too directive or overbearing when it comes to helping them get rid of their stuff. I feel like this was different from other reality TV shows in that it didn't sensationalize a lot of drama and it wasn't edited in a way that would make you cringe if you appeared on the show. Yeah, it was just a nice show to watch. Like, it had a nice positive vibe. You'll watch the show and I think a lot of people watch the show and want to start decluttering their homes. I personally find it so motivating when I watch YouTube videos or shows about people having to simplify their homes and declutter their stuff. So if that's the sort of thing that you find motivating, watching other people do it, then I think this show will be really helpful to you. You may even find that encourages a few non-minimalist people in your family to declutter as well. So an unexpected benefit of this was that when I first arrived in New Zealand to visit my family, my mum actually said she wanted me to help my dad declutter a few rooms in their house, including the kitchen, and he was like, no, I've already done it. He dug his heels in and said, I really, you know, think it's fine, I don't want to do it. And then we watched a couple of episodes of this program at my sister's house, and after a couple of days I decided I might go and have a look at their kitchen, and he let me help him declutter the whole kitchen and the whole pantry after watching this show. It was a really unexpected benefit. And if you like watching shows to learn something, apart from obviously the human side of it, it's kind of interspersed with tips from Marie. So she shows you some tips on how to organize the items that you do decide to keep. For example, she shows you how to fold scarves, how to organize electronics, and she also shows you how to organize your handbags, how to store them nicely so that your handbags don't get crushed, and also how to fold a fitted sheet. I mean, even I have trouble folding a fitted sheet. I like the way that they've got practical sort of one-on-one tips to the viewer interspersed with the actual scenes that are going on inside each family's house. Some things that the show probably doesn't cover so well and may be able to be improved in a future series are things like, and this might have more to do with the actual KonMari method than the TV show itself, is that I feel people will watch the show and think, oh my gosh, that's so overwhelming. They take every single piece of clothing from every room in their house and dump it on the bed, and that's just a mountain of stuff to tackle. It is so overwhelming. They do their whole house within a few weeks, and I think some people will watch that and think that is just an almost insurmountable challenge, that is just so much work, it's so overwhelming, and it might put them off from starting decluttering. But I think you've got to remember that you've got the opportunity to break these things down. So even with clothes, you could just start with your socks and break it down into subcategories. But I don't think the show really addressed that as well. And I do think Marie's method anyway is more extreme, where she says that you should be able to tidy this way and not to tidy again. And I kind of disagree with that, because personally I found that the first time I decluttered, yes, I thought I was done, but the more I've sort of re-reviewed my stuff and the more comfortable I've gotten with decluttering, then the more I've been able to get rid of in subsequent decluttering sessions, where her method more advocates getting it all done at once, and then you shouldn't need to do a big purge like this ever again. But I feel like for some people like myself, it may take a few goes to get it to the point where you're really happy with the state of your home. And I don't think you should watch the show expecting to find that the homes have been totally made over. It's not a home renovation show, and people may watch the show and think, oh my gosh, they still have quite a lot of stuff. But I think you have to remember that these people are basically, they're not trying to meet a certain, maximum number of items. They're basically trying to do what works for them. And so if you're expecting to watch the show and see that the rooms are going to be completely clear in all cases, that's not the case. But I actually think each of the 8 families did a really, really good job considering where they started from, and I could absolutely see them having another go in the future at decluttering their homes. And I actually hope they do some follow-up shows in the future on these families, because I'd really like to see if the families have been able to maintain the state of their homes, or even whether they've done more decluttering since they've gone through this initial process with Marie. And the last thing that I think the show didn't really cover that I think is still a really important aspect of minimizing and simplifying your home is it didn't really address how to prevent the clutter building up again, and how to, I guess, stop the inflow of stuff coming back into your home, and what techniques can you use to sort of prevent yourself getting into that situation again. So it just dealt with eliminating and simplifying stuff and getting your home to a state where you'll enjoy living there in future, but it didn't really address how to maintain it going forward. So I think that would have been nice for them to get the families to get a few more tips on how to stop the inflow of stuff coming in and cluttering up your home again. But I think overall the show is a great motivator. It has some great tips, and it's a great watch in terms of if you like things that show the human side in real life situations and how people overcome challenges without it being too sensationalized. You may need a couple boxes of tissues for some of the episodes though. I think you would enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed seeing this side of Marie that you can't necessarily see from reading her books. And she's such a likable personality, and I've watched all 8 episodes. I was only going to watch a couple to start with my sisters, but I came home to Australia and had to subscribe to Netflix so I could watch the rest of the series because I really enjoyed it. I hope you found this review helpful. I didn't want to give too much away about what happened in the show because I think you really need to watch it and enjoy it for yourself, but hopefully that'll give you a few ideas on what to expect. Leave me a comment below. Have you watched the show and what do you think of it? Or have you tried the KonMari method and found it helpful for you? If you liked this video or found it helpful, please give it a big old thumbs up by clicking on the thumbs up button below, and of course subscribe by clicking on my face if you haven't already to get decluttering and cleaning and organizing tips from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.